some of you guys out there are just never going to be that magazine.
Yeah, right.
Just never.
Right.
So don't get your hopes up.
But okay. No, you don't have to be that magazine, but you can be a magazine.
Oh yeah, no.
You can be your own best version, right?
For sure.
And your best version is enough at the end of the day. We just have to receive it.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Deep MCs, the podcast that seeks to push meaningful conversation to a whole new level. Whether it's for your entertainment or your personal growth, we appreciate you being here today. And now, on to the show. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Here we are for another episode of Deep MCs.
Yes, man. What did I just? Yeah, I just screwed up.
Mate, sir, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't know.
They know what it is. They know who we are. And, we just leave it. We leave it at that. What are we getting into today?
Hey, man. So today we are going to dig into like the issue of body shaming.
Body shaming. That's a big one.
It's huge, man.
Big one.
It's huge. I mean, and we see a lot of. I think we see a lot of people who are breaking through some molds, right? And breaking through just the ideas of I'm gonna be who I am. But that's come at a pretty hefty kind of cost, I think.
No, I agree. I mean, this is a hard one, and it's even hard to talk about, and I know like a lot of people are going to be, I'm going to duck this just a little bit more. So I want people to hear what we're really saying. I like the music, but every now and then, we got to be a little more intimate, a little more, right? This is a hard one. I mean, especially for me, myself, or for whatever, right? Body image, as much as people like to say it doesn't affect them. Yeah. Body image definitely does have an effect on people, have a toll on people. And I think a lot of times when we talk about body image, people think fat, first and foremost, right?
Yeah, right.
But it also goes the other way, ultra skinny, bulimic or whatever it is. People are afraid because they look so frail or so thin or so whatever. I mean, it goes both ways, and it does affect mentally, the mental aspect of the person, as well as the physical, because you do crazy, insane things to try to
shift that perspective,
to shift the perspective of it. And it's also one of those things where the projection of what the perfect body is so fake and skewed.
And that's a cultural thing, man. I mean, not even necessarily cultural, but that's societal, right? Is we've seen so many views of what perfect looks like.
Yeah.
Supposedly, right?
Supposedly,
these magazine covers, and when you see people buying everything that they can to get this look of perfection, right?
Perfect look, perfect. But it's weird though, because when you talk about just body image as a whole, not just our society, but other societies, especially like over time. And I know this doesn't necessarily relate, right? But you think about even like the Japanese culture and stuff like that, where they do like the foot binding, because you want to have the smaller feet are more attractive or whatever the situation is. So then you even have someone as like your foot size in some cultures, is you're ugly because of that, or your skin color is not light enough, or you're too dark, or whatever the situation is.
I grew up in the South, right? And so there's a clear difference, kind of, not so much for me, but I've heard of it. My parents have experienced it. I'm on the darker side of the scale, right? And so I've had a lot of friends who were on the lighter side of the scale, and there was a different perception even between beauty and worth and all of those types of things, even from that separation. And I've even between families. There have been rifts in families because somebody who was traditionally brighter married a darker person, and there was a split between the family. It's because you wanted to preserve this particular look,
right?
And that is crazy, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. The things that people obsess over and think are important, it's kind of ridiculous when it all boils down to at the end of the day. But yeah, body shaming, I guess, here in America, right? People, it's just irritating because you talk about like the people in the magazine covers and the people in this, the people in that. Like before we even get all the way into this, right? Like let's just be clear right now. Like the stuff you see on the magazine covers, yes, that is a real person, a real body, but caveats,
capital B-U-T.
I'll even throw another T in there, but, right? Real ass here, right? but that being said, those pictures are photoshopped and touched up.
Yeah, right.
Right? That's,
y'all, I do graphics, right? And I'm not working for these high-end magazines, but I know how to touch up a picture.
Exactly.
I know how to smooth over skin. I can even take an arm from this side of your body and put it on this side of your body. Literally, and can blend it in a way that
it looks legit.
It'll be legit, right?
Yes.
So we create. It's created. Yeah.
Created.
Yeah.
It's a fabricated.
It's a fabrication, man.
Look. They don't. That's the number one thing people have to understand is those pictures are touched up. Not only are they touched up, that is probably the 700th picture they took for that shoot because they're trying to get that
They get the perfected one. The right lighting, the right pose.
Just perfect.
Turn 2 inches that way because it's going
more.
Right.
Yeah. Get your pump first.
Yeah.
Get the blood flowing. do some squats, whatever it is. Like I want everybody to think about how many times they've taken a picture and how many times have you nailed that picture perfect the first time.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Right.
And then you go through, I hate, I love my wife, but I hate taking pictures with her. She, hey babe, come take a picture of me. And we'll go outside and we'll be on the porch, right? Have the right scenery in the back.
Whole everything.
And I have to hold it at the right angle and the right, and it has to be up here, down at the right 35-degree angle.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Are we doing that?
It's got to be perfect that's the problem, right? Because people see that and then they have to replicate that. Yeah. And it it's more stress. Like taking a picture of you enjoying yourself doing something should not take 40 minutes.
Right. And then there's 12 of them, right? We got to come back and we got to look at it. No, I don't like that.
The right one.
No, I don't like that one.
Nope.
Okay, can you take 2 more?
And then slap a filter on it. Right. And then it's ridiculous,
It has become a full-time job.
To
present yourself in a way.
Ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. And people just need to understand that. And that's why I want to start out by clarifying that. For these people. And I forgot the most important C. Not just a letter, but use your eyes and see. These people are not natural. Not natural. They are enhanced. Yeah. Enhanced could be cosmetically, it could be chemically, it could be whatever it is. Now, yes, there are a select few that have great genetics. You do need genetics to have a good body, whether it's the way you carry your weight or the way that you look.
Let's define good, honestly, right? Because I think that's where we veer. It's because we assume good has to be compared to somebody else's.
True.
So there's a health issue, yeah. So you want to make sure that you're not unhealthy. And that, from a what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, those kind of things, we want to make sure we're pushing that as a proponent of good health. But at the end of the day, what good looks like to you
It's all subjective.
Doesn't have to be compared to somebody else's good.
And that's the truth, right? And I think that gets lost a lot of times in translation and just in representation, just because of what's out there, and what people are putting out there. You know, there's a lot of people that they feel if you are not, I don't know what the word would be. Right, because we're trying to stay away of what's good, right?
Yeah,
but
right,
if you're not carrying the statuesque marble statue, Greek God, why do they always say Greek God? Why are they? Because if you ever look at those statues, none of them are ever really ripped or huge. They're always just, I don't know, whatever.
I don't know.
Anyway, another topic for another day. But if you don't have that, I guess for guys, you know, it's the broad shoulders, the big chest, the 6-pack, 8-pack, whatever.
Yep.
You know, girls, it's the hourglass shape, the big ass, you know, the whatever. Like, if you don't have those features, then you are not an attractive person.
Yeah. Right.
And that hurts a lot of people. And there's a thing, right? And that's why I say, like, you have to get to a point where you are just happy being the best version of you that you can be, and leave it there. You know, and I guess it's hard because, like, yes, the human body is very malleable. It's also very adaptive, and it can also do some pretty amazing things if you push it, right? But some people have to understand that you are limited genetically to what you can achieve as well in a natural state. Yeah. Right?
You can enhance it.
You can enhance it, but even then I think that you're still limited, right? And there's just people, right? I mean, you could take two people that are the same exact weight, and they have totally different proportions. Yeah. Right. And it just looks different. They both could be in shape. They both could be out of shape, but they're just going to carry it.
You carry weight in different places.
Exactly.
Right? And I know my genetic structure, right? I know my family. If I look at the you know, kind of the lineage, I know my family carries weight in below the waist, right? You know, so it's the stomach, it's hips, it's butt, it's legs, you know, and so we're going to be bigger, just a thicker group of family members, right? And so, but then there's some that don't carry it that way, right? And that's just, you know, I've always had to look at the husky genes. You know, that's been part of my, you know, growing up. Is I wasn't skinny, you know, straight skinny gene. What is that?
Oh Lord, don't even. I can't.
But everybody's wearing a straight skinny jean.
Yeah.
I look like a sausage in a freaking skin. in
the straight skin. Yeah, in the straight skinnies. No, I mean, I know how you feel. I've always been an odd body shape. Like, I can never buy anything off the rack and it fits well.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't.
And you know,
work.
The crazy thing is when you find something that you feel like does work, you buy it in every color. I found a pair of Levi's that was almost there, and I bought every style they had, every color they had. I got the ripped blue, the ripped black. I bought everything they had. Yeah, man.
No, I got to do the Levi's 569.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, and it's just, that is the thing though, right? Because I think a lot of times people don't think about these things, and they reach this level of depression. And they get beat down because they don't have this look, or they don't have this whatever. And the thing is that and this, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. Why is Debbie always the downer as well too? That's another.
You know, I think, you know,
I don't know.
There's some people that just get bad raps, right? Debbie, Karen.
Karen deserves it. Debbie sounds like a nice. I knew one. I mean,
like a nice, wholesome.
But I knew one lady named Debbie when I worked in Florida. Ugh, fuck Florida. But when I was working for CVS, we had a cashier. Her name was Debbie, and she was an older lady. I think that by that time she was probably mid 50s ish. And she was the most bubbly, sweet, southern white lady you've ever met.
I got you.
She talked to everybody, and I don't. I'm sorry, I'm sharing these stories, and it's funny because Debbie, she was older, but she was like young spirited.
Okay.
And I think that, is it Survivor that used to come out on Wednesday nights or something like that? I don't know. Anyway, you would always know it was Wednesday because on Survivor Wednesday nights, her and her husband would have sex. And she'd be so excited because Survivor and sex
that triggered something. Survivor triggered
and sex was that was their sex night, their sexy night, she would call it. So she was always so happy, would want to get off work early that day. So yeah, shout out Debbie wherever you are. This is great story, Debbie. Anyway, don't
How
know
did
where
we get there? Debbie Downer.
Debbie Downer.
Okay,
yes,
got it,
there we go. But yeah, so people get down. I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but there are just some of you guys out there are just never going to be that magazine.
Yeah, right.
Just never.
Right.
So don't get your hopes up.
But okay, no, you don't have to be that magazine, but you can be a magazine.
Oh yeah, no,
you can be your own best version, right?
For sure.
And your best version is enough at the end of the day. We just have to receive it. We just have to accept that my best version, even at my biggest, even at my largest or at my smallest or at my, with a pimple on my nose, whatever that is,
I got one under my eye and I had to pop it. Now it's a scar. I look crazy, but whatever. Neither here nor there.
Your best version.
Best.
Right?
No, this is not the best version, but getting there.
Okay.
Getting there.
All right.
Yeah, no, but you have to be the best version. Now, so that for me brings up something though too, because that I know we're on the topic of body shaming. When we have the whole, I guess the reasons body shaming can be taken a lot of different ways, but for a long time, there's always been like this magazine look. We'll just call it the magazine look, right? This is before even Instagram and all that stuff was around.
Yeah.
Now, there was this point in time where people were getting upset and saying, "No, you're hurting these people, you're hurting these kids, or you're doing whatever because you're projecting this image, which is not naturally attainable, or whatever the situation is, blase." Mm-hmm. And then you have this emergence, is that the right word? I'm trying to be all Joe education over
sounds
here,
right.
and I'm not, but emergence of the opposite, where you're starting to see full-figured people, or people that would be considered fat, or whatever the situation is, starting to do these magazines or these this or these that's or whatever, right? And they're getting this, you're so brave, or you're doing so good, or you're projecting this image, or like whatever. I don't know how I feel about that either.
What you mean?
In all honesty, because I think that if I take somebody, I feel like it's opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Mm-hmm. So we get we're upset at these ripped in shape, whatever, enhanced beings, and because they're projecting an image that's not obtainable. And for me, the problem with that is, if you take out the Photoshop, because we know that exists, right? It's acknowledged that it's there. Take that aspect away. That body, though, once that aspect is taken away, is obtainable. It's obtainable through hard work, because even those some of these people are enhanced, some of these people are taking all kinds of gear to get to that level. It still takes an intense amount of dedication. It takes an intense amount of work, and they're spending a lot of time to craft and hone this body to get to that point. But they are to that point, right? So it is obtainable to a certain extent. I don't think that we should shame somebody because someone chose to go to that level and chose to put that much effort into, I mean, because you think about it, like anybody that thinks about, if you want in a situation where you want to lose weight or you want to get in shape or whatever, think about how hard that is for you. Think about how hard it is to stick to a dieting routine, right? Consistently and not break. Like that itself is hard.
Yeah, I mean, you have at least, right? They talk about forming new habits, right? And you have to do it consistent for at least 21 days,
right,
to change your habit, right? And some people, you know, find it hard sometimes to be able to consistently do that. And there's some excuses that pop up, right? I have a son in football practice, or I have this, that, and the third, or you know, there's nothing, if I have to pick up something quick, there's nothing that I can really grab that's going to fall into this regiment. So I fall back into this scenario, right? Because I'm not able to meal prep or do whatever it is, right? And we come up with a lot of different excuses because I'm part of that. I probably gained and lost enough weight to make several people over a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
And you know, at my largest, I think I was like 275 and 5'11", right? So a nice chunky dude, right? And so at that point, I just knew that, I don't know that there was any body shame. I just knew that wasn't the best place for me, right? And it does something to your confidence. It does something to your thought process and your own perceptions. So even when we're talking about body shaming, we have to work on the internal part.
For sure.
Right? Because society's going to do what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, I think what's happening, because you said, you know, you have both ends of the spectrum. So you have people being praised for being brave and just being who they are. But at the end of the day, is that still healthy? And I think that's where the concern is, right? Not necessarily that you have to look a certain way or reach a certain body type. It's just that, are you the healthiest you can be to live out a long and fulfilled life?
Yes. And you hit the nail on the head with that. And that's where my frustration for that other side comes in, is because it's not the size of the person, but it's the perception that's being put out there. For the same reason that we're upset at this upper echelon end of the body spectrum, we should also be upset at this other side, because you're taking these full figure, right? You don't want to call them fat or whatever it is. Like, you're taking these larger people and you're putting them out there and you're glamming them up and you're doing whatever. And you know what? If that person that's in that picture is healthy and, you know, all their blood work checks out and everything is great, fine. But you're still projecting an image that it's okay to just be large, which it is if you're healthy. But people aren't taking it as that. And a lot of people don't take it as that. A lot of people just take it as, oh, right, because you see someone that matches you, and now you're like, oh, well, it's good to be big, and I'm not big, I'm good. And if you're not healthy, though, some people need to shave a few pounds, like just for health reasons. But what's the motivation if now it's okay to be you and be okay in your skin and be this and that? Like, yes, those are good, positive words, but.
So let me ask, what's the lesser of two evils? To be overweight, but confident, or because you can be overweight but then have a self-confidence about yourself that allows you to be excited, happy, move on and do some things that are productive? Or should you be on this other end where you realize, not be confident?
I don't think that, I don't see that, and that's the hard thing, because now my question would be, right, is you, from the overweight perspective, you take someone that's overweight and confident, I would challenge for them to dig deep and ask if they're really confident, or if that's a facade.
Okay.
I think a lot of times it ends up being a facade, because you're overweight and confident, but then you're sad because you got winded getting out the car, walking in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's a difference. Like, no one wants to be that. Like, no one wants to feel like you can be big and in shape. I mean, I see people all the time running around the neighborhood that have guts, but they're knocking out miles, right? Their heart health more than me, man. Because let me tell you, my distance is trash. Like, these guys will outrun me in a whew.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I never could. I don't know why. I'm not built like that. Right. But they're not getting winded, and I think that's the difference, right? But then you see some of these people that are claiming to be confident, they're really not happy with where they're at. They don't feel good, but it's like a project. I think a lot of times,
can it be a catalyst though? I mean, so you see the projection of a larger, more full-figured woman or man, right? My wife and I were watching this. She loves these design shows, right? Where they were doing this. They were making clothes, right? It was one of those design shows, and one of the designers who actually won the show, she was making clothes for a more full-figure woman, as well as she was making for the spectrum of women. And she was being praised for being able to make something that fit well, looked great, all of those kind of things, built confidence and all those kind of things.
Right.
And then, of course, you had full-figured models, which is something that you really wouldn't see in a previous, time, right? There was only this perception of what it had to look like.
Right.
And so now there was this confidence that was built. Now, in that, I feel like it's okay to see yourself in that moment, but hopefully there will be something that kicks in just to make sure that whoever I am, I just want to be the healthiest in whatever state or place I am. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, yeah.
Because what if I just don't have the propensity to be anything else other than who I am today?
And that's fair,
because of
right?
my genetics or whatever those things are.
And that's fair. I think that there is. God, we're branching. There's so many avenues to go down here, right? This is a hard one. I think this is probably one of the hardest, hardest things to talk about.
And I say that, Shepard, because I've always been a big dude.
Right.
I've always been. I think I came out the womb at 100 pounds.
Right. I feel sorry for your mom.
I know, right?
I'm sorry,
but I've always been that guy, right?
No.
And even now, I'll even share this, right? My wife and I we became. She wanted to be pescatarian.
Terrible.
Okay, here we are. And I shared with her the other day. I said, okay, I did this with you, right? And I'm in it full blast, and we've done it maybe a year and a half now. But my body hadn't responded in the way, for me, that it's responded to her.
Right.
Right? Because now I'm supplementing with carbs, or I'm supplementing because now I'm not fulfilled kind of in the diet. But here we are. I'm expecting to have progressed and be at a different place, but just not there.
Right.
But there's this, and so I think I'm trying these things and really trying to live a healthier life. But I think it's in me having to identify some of these things that we're doing just aren't they don't work for me.
Right.
You know.
But that's huge, right? And I think that a lot of times people don't understand that's where it comes to. I feel like I got something in my eyes. Where genetics plays a huge role in a lot of things. And I think that a lot of people miss that, right? Because, there's a lot of diets. I hate using the word diets because that just kind of signifies something temporary. And this should be more of a life change, right? But for sake of keeping it simple, we'll say diets. But there's a lot of diets out there. There's so many because there's so many different types of people. And what works for one isn't going to work for the other. Even if you are the same family, the same blood, right. What works for one is not going to work for the other person. And it's about finding what works specifically for your body. But to go back to what you were kind of saying earlier, though, when you're talking about the designer, I think that is a situation too. Because like one of the things that you said for it is she was designing clothes that inspire confidence or all this other stuff like that. And I think that that's a good and a bad thing, right? Because part of it is when we get to the point where you have to design something to inspire confidence, we're putting a Band-Aid on a problem that already exists.
Okay.
Right? Because you have to design something to inspire your confidence. Like you should already be confident. Now we know that, a fresh haircut, new clothes makes you feel good, whatever, right? We get that, right? But if you're identifying a problem, especially for bigger people or full-figured people, whatever it is, saying that, hey, we want to inspire confidence in you. So it means you're already lacking something. And it could be good if that confidence, if that is a catalyst for change. But I think that confidence can also be a catalyst for comfort and people just staying where they are.
Catalyst for comfort.
Right.
Wow.
Because now why should I invoke
I'm
change?
good in my skin.
Yeah, because I'm good right here. You can't tell me nothing. And you may not be good in your skin. And so like I said, like I come from a larger family too. Most of them look like the penguin from Batman Forever, right? They just do. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And I have a propensity. Is that I don't know where I'm getting these words
propensity
from.
It's the right word.
I
Go
don't know
ahead,
what
man.
the
You're
hell
flowing.
is going on,
Just
man.
flow.
To be a larger person.
Yeah, right.
I just do. And for me, we carry the weight in the love handles and the gut.
Yeah.
So I have to be extra mindful of everything that I take in because that's where it's going to hit.
Yeah.
That's where it's going to hit. I could be jacked in the chest and the legs, but I'm going to have a gut.
Yeah, right.
For whatever.
And that's the last place it's going to leave.
And the last place it's going to leave. So I have to be extra mindful of that. But like I said, it's one of those things where I get it. And it is hard, and especially if you come from genetics of being larger or a family that is larger, it is difficult to shake out of that and change, and you're only going to be able to do so much. And I understand, but at the same time, we need to be able to just understand the difference of health.
Yeah.
Right. Of what is healthy and what is acceptable.
Okay.
And kind of just build off of that. I think that a lot of times, and especially right now, I think that I don't expect everybody to be magazine shoot ready all the time. That's not realistic.
So
right?
can we separate that? I think if we can separate that, because magazine shoot ready is a outward perception.
For sure.
Right. And so if we can separate magazine shoot ready, which is basically confident enough to be who you are in a photo for the world to see. Let's just take that, right? Let's put that magazine ready over here. And then let's take this perception of what we believe beauty is and deal with that. Because I believe when we believe beauty is a certain thing, then we feel like we're not good enough.
Yes. I would agree with that, and that's what I said. I think that there is, now we're starting to see a lot more models of all sizes,
right.
You know, and I think that's good.
Not necessarily in dudes. You see it in the
just
females.
everywhere. Yeah. You know, it is a little. I mean, I guess you see it in dudes if you're looking at, like, I don't know. You more so see it in clothing.
Yeah, you see it in the JCPenney catalog.
Yeah,
well, who wants
stuff like that? I'm surprised JCPenney's still around. But
like, you used to see it at Sears.
Yeah, you know, you see those things. I don't know. But you do, I guess, I kind of see a little bit of change. But it would be nice if people can just kind of break away. At the end of the day, me personally, I want people to be in a healthy state.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, I want people to be okay, and I want people to understand, like, you don't have to be. This sounds bad, but you don't have to be okay with where you are, as long as you're okay with where you're going, right?
Okay.
And it's okay. Like, people say you shouldn't body shame people. I think that some people need to know that they're fat.
So I think that we should be honest, right? I definitely think we should be honest and say, hey, what you're doing is detrimental to your future.
Yes.
Right? Your future health, your future family growth, whatever those things are that you plan, that you've dreamed of, you have a possibility of negating all of that if you're not living a life that's conducive health-wise to achieve it all.
Right. And that's what, I don't know, when you take it, when we put a positive spin on either sides of these things, right? I think that it creates a negative overall outcome, right? Mm-hmm. Because there is a health spectrum, and when you talk about those things, like, even if you think about men, women, like, there is a physical change to your body when you are on either sides of these spectrums, right? Mm-hmm. You know, like, if you take, like, just say, take a woman, for example, you know, if they get too big, right, there's a risk that you might not be able to have kids. Mm-hmm. You know, you might not be, I mean, there's a reason why they tell you need to lose weight. Right. So it's not body shaming. You can be as confident as you want at X amount of pounds. Yeah. But you need to understand, like, it's not healthy. Yeah. Or if you're too thin,
it comes with a response,
right? There's a response to your body. Same thing with guys. If you're too big, your chemical balance changes, right? Your testosterone, estrogen, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a doctor, but it changes. Yeah. Right? And it changes you. If you're too lean, right, it also changes you. So, I mean, that alone right there, not body shaming anybody or pointing fingers at anybody, there is evidence that says this isn't okay. Mm-hmm. So then why do we continue to put it out there like,
I mean, I think we've just dropped into life, right? And I think life happens in a way where this becomes the secondary or even tertiary thing that, you know, we prioritize other things, right? Because there's this idea that I may live longer than I can come back to this. Or, you know, this underlying condition is not going to hinder me from doing whatever it is I want to do, you know, and I'm living my life, right? Without having to focus on these things. It's just that the quality of the life that you're living is, you don't even recognize that it's lower because you're not at the healthiest place.
Right.
You know, not able to run and play with my son or do whatever it is because I'm already winded, you know, just walking out to the baseball field or whatever it is, right? You know, the heat is already starting to just destroy me before I even get to the field because I'm overweight or I have high blood pressure or whatever those other things are, right? That contribute. So I definitely see and understand where you are, and we should be. For me, you know, the chart says I should be at 165 pounds is what that chart says. I would look like a complete crackhead at 165, right? But I know that I would be comfortable at 205. Right? And at 205, my confidence level, I believe that's maybe why I'm not there yet, because I'm a cocky 205. Because I've been there before, and it's a
not
different
good.
thing, right? I'm a cocky 205, and I'm a and so there's some things you still got to balance out.
Punishment.
Yeah, yeah. There's some things you still got to balance out, man, to try to get it worked out the way it needs to be. But even in that, right? It says I should be what did I say? 65?
65, something like that.
I should be 165, but I know for me, a solid 205 is a great place for me. I feel good. Right. I feel like I look good. My clothes fit like I want them to fit. And then I go into the world with a different level of confidence and a different approach.
Right.
So yeah, then a comment about how I look or any of those kind of things doesn't even faze me because I'm confident. About it.
You're in your happy place. That's the happy zone, right?
Right.
And I think everybody needs to kind of find out what that is for them. I hate the BMI charts because they're so off.
Yeah,
they're so off.
They have nothing to do with your family history, your genetics, your body makeup, none of those things.
Nothing at all. It's just a roundabout number, and a lot of people take that as like this is the word. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the gospel at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
By that case, I mean, same thing for me. Like I'm in the morbidly obese section. You know,
I might as well be on 600-pound life. You know,
because we only got about 3 months left to live. You know,
right?
It is what it is. You know, I don't know. I think that people need to kind of find out where their happy point is for them, and just kind of just strive to get to that. You know, I don't know. It's so hard especially when you talk about how someone feels in regards to their body, right? We were always told love the skin that you're in, but at the same time, like,
what can we say to people who are not comfortable where they are, but have tried a million different things, didn't see the movement, didn't see the change that they thought they would? They actually committed, right, but still haven't seen those shifts and those movements, and now are at a place where you know what, I'm just gonna be cool where I am because nothing that I've done has worked. You know, nothing that I've done has got me to I've fully committed and I want to change, but I can't get there.
I mean, and so that's a good question, right? And I think that each individual person and case is going to be different in that scenario. But for me, I mean, I would tell them to get back on the horse and try again. And the reasons why I say that is because it is a situation where not everything works for you. Yeah. Not everything works in your situation. Mm-hmm. And the reasons why you didn't hit, right? A lot of times people get these diets, they're sold some BS. Yeah. They're like, oh, if you just take this supplement.
I mean, those before and after pictures will cause you to spend a ton of money.
A whole lot of money, right? And the thing about it is, I tell everybody right now, if you're not doing something extreme, and when I mean extreme, I mean dumping an absurd amount of time into these routines or these diets or these changes,
right?
You're not gonna see that before and after transformation right away. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna see it in 30 days. You're not gonna see it in 60 days. You're not gonna see it in probably 90 days. Yeah. And you know, you think about, like, is The Biggest Loser still on TV?
I haven't seen it in a while.
I don't know. Yeah, but if you think about them, right? And it's a TV show and this, that, and the other, but they went to a camp where they were controlled.
It's a controlled variable.
All their time was spent towards this, right? And it still wasn't I came in as this and I'm leaving jacked, shredded, and whatever else, right? They may have lost 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 100 pounds.
And they still had to leave there and go home, right?
Yeah.
And when they went home, they had to still
and a lot of people put stuff back on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's life. And so that's why I tell these people that have tried it, you know, have a conversation with someone who's informed, or have a conversation with someone who's maybe doing what you want to do.
So there's one thing that I made up in my mind to do, right? And one of the things is I feel like the investment that I make in other places I also need to make in my health. Okay. And one of the things that I'm planning to do is go to a dietitian. And the reason I'm going to do that is because one, I've tried a lot of different things, but I don't know necessarily what's the trigger that is going to be for my body type, for my, the way that I'm made up, that is going to help me achieve the best goals. Because maybe I'm missing this, or maybe I'm missing that one thing, or maybe this other thing, but I need some professional help to help me identify, kind of, not to give me a diet plan, but help me identify what are the things that are spikes and triggers and these other things for me, right?
Right.
Because I'm willing to, at this point, to get some, not just look on the internet and see this next challenge and jump into this next challenge and feel like it's going to work for me.
No, I agree. I mean, that's not a bad idea. And I guess for people right now, because obviously, the people that are probably going to get in touch with this a little bit more are the ones that are probably on the overweight side, wanting to lose rather than the people that are already in shape. But I mean, I guess a couple pointers, and I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a doctor, but I have basic knowledge, right? And I guess a couple quick pointers for people is one of the main things, right? When it comes to a weight loss perspective versus a weight gain perspective, at the end of the day, the only thing that makes a difference is calories in versus calories out.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
It doesn't, I mean, does what you eat matter? Yes, but that's on a whole different level. At the end of the day, when it comes to losing weight or gaining weight, you either need to be at a calorie deficit,
right,
or a calorie surplus.
Right.
And what that means for people is if you don't eat any food or you don't do anything, right, when you wake up or you go to sleep, whatever, you're always burning calories, right? So in a 24-hour period, your body burns X amount of calories. Now, there's plenty of calculators out there that can help you get an estimate of whatever that caloric burn is, but you're burning X amount of calories. So let's just say that you burn 2,000 calories a day, right? If you want to lose weight, you need to eat less than 2,000 calories a day, every day, right? Because then you are at a deficit. You are burning more calories than you intake. Right. If you want to gain weight, right, you have to eat more than 2,000 calories a day, because you burn. So what I always tell people, initially is they say it's roughly like 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. Right. So again, this is general. It varies for people if you're different ages, different metabolisms, different whatevers. But at the end of the day, 3,500 calories is equivalent of 1 pound. So if you burn 2,000 calories a day, right, times 7 days, right, is 1,400 calories, right? If you wanted to lose a pound a week, you would need to eat, I believe it is 1,500 calories a day. Okay. Because you're eating 500 calories less than you burn.
So that's 3,500 calories.
35. So you will be 1 pound lighter at the end of the week because you ate.
You burned 2. You ate
15. So you're in a 500 calorie deficit daily, which led to 3,500 calories over the week, which means you lost a pound.
Got it.
Right? The same thing goes in reverse. You eat 500 more, you're at a surplus, whatever. And I think a lot of times what people don't realize, and especially, and this is where I would challenge people too when it comes to eating, is what are you eating? And I think a lot of times people get confused because in their mind, they relate certain foods to health.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And a lot of times people say, oh, well, I ate chicken breast and I ate this and I ate a salad and like whatever, and they equate these meals. There's a big difference between making a salad at your house and picking a salad up at Salada or Wendy's or McDonald's or whatever, And if you look at the caloric content of in homemade house salad versus a McDonald's salad. Right? Your McDonald's salad, it looks healthy. It's got berries and nuts and this and that, but calorically, that one salad would technically damn near be your 2,000 calories for the whole day.
Yeah, right.
And so people are like, well, I don't understand. Well, I'm not losing weight. I had a salad for lunch, and then I went home and I had this.
A sensible dinner,
and
chicken breast, rice, and broccoli.
And you ate 2 times your caloric intake,
right?
And you didn't realize, in your mind, you're eating healthy, but you're not realizing the calories that you've intake versus what you burn.
Because you're still using that ranch dressing.
Yeah.
You know, and all of those kind of things. And you use the light one, whatever. But all of that stuff begins to add up.
It does add up, right? And even if you look at the calories, even if you in the light one, when you look at the serving portion, they're talking about a tablespoon
of that.
Nobody puts a tablespoon of ranch dressing.
So you got 5 servings of ranch dressing.
On your salad.
And you ate the crouton.
Yeah, and everything else, right? And I think that's a big common misconception.
And the honey glaze, pecans.
Yes, everything that's on there, just killing yourself in calories.
Yeah.
You know, even then, you know, like I said, with the fish and the seafood, it's the same thing. You know, what did you cook it in?
Yep.
You know, what else was there?
Right.
Blase. You know, that stuff makes a big difference. And I think a lot of people need to really look at that. And so I would tell that person, reconsider, take a good look. What were you really doing? You know, and what were you really putting in? You know, and then when it comes to working out, what were you really doing? What does your day look like? You know, if you spend a lot of time at a desk, you're not moving around.
Yeah.
You have to put a lot more work in, you know. And I think also what kind of fools people is working out is hard, and it takes a lot of dedication, it takes a lot of work. And some people, they go about even their workouts in a wrong, I wouldn't say wrong manner. Let me clarify. It's better to do something
than nothing at all.
Than to do nothing at all,
of course,
right?
Of course.
But there are certain things that have advantages.
They're gonna be more profitable.
Right?
Yeah,
and what a lot of people confuse a lot of times is running. Running. People think, I went out and I put in miles.
Yeah.
You know, when you really think about it, do you know, like, the amount of calories you burn running a mile is
minimal.
Nothing. You drink those calories in your morning coffee.
Yeah.
You know, so the investment of running that mile sucks. Right. You probably spent, if you're not in shape, 20 minutes to do it. Right. And it feels like you did a lot of work, but in reality, you didn't burn that many calories, right? Weightlifting. A lot of people don't like to lift weights, think they're going to get huge. There's different ways to lift weights. You can lift weights to bulk, you can lift weights to maintain, you can lift weights to get lean. Weightlifting burns more calories than cardio does.
Right.
If you're not moving those weights, you're not putting that extra overload on your body, you're not going to burn the same as you do doing a cardio activity, right? So there's something out there for people that have tried everything and it just doesn't seem to work. Don't give up, because there's something out there for you that's going to work for you. You just have to find out what your catalyst is, and it's probably something that you just overthought.
Yeah,
you know, it's probably something you just overthought, and once you find it, it's going to click. But also, the lighter you are, and the lighter you get, the more difficult it's going to become.
Yeah,
it's way easier for someone to go from 500 pounds to 300 pounds.
Right.
But
that's why you see those big jumps.
Yeah,
in some
you
of those
see those
shows
huge jumps. That's easy because they're moving a lot of weight.
You're just adding,
but they're just
movement to something that you hadn't done at all. Right?
Exactly. And once you get leaner, the more lean you get, the harder it's going to get.
Right.
To
the more
reach
intentional
that
you're going to have to be about modifying whatever it is to get to those exact numbers.
And that's when you see even these people. And I watched a show, and it's just funny to talk about the people, but I watched a show that it was on Netflix, a documentary a while back, but even you see those people that are super lean, like when they get to that point, it literally becomes everything. Okay, well, people don't understand that you carry around water weight. Even when you lose your body fat, there's still a layer of water under the skin, you know. And when they get extra lean, or they call, you know, getting real dry, you look real dry, they're basically dehydrating themselves to get as lean to look. I mean, there's everything, right? Every food you eat at that point, you know, bit of food you eat plays in. Every drop of water you drink plays in. So I mean, you do have to be more mindful of what you're doing, you know, along the way, because it's only going to get more difficult. But once you fit that routine, you find out what it is that you're trying to do, you're trying to achieve, it becomes easier. You just have to find out what it is that works for you.
Gotcha.
And it's not going to be these magic crash diets. It's not going to be these stupid ass body shape corsets that they sell. That shit don't work.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says. It's going to be your intake of food and the amount of work that you put in.
I got you.
To make it work.
So man, we've Shepard talks about, you know, the stuff he doesn't know, but clearly he's a wealth of knowledge. I don't know about that. Yeah. I mean, so we're gonna, you know, we'll deal with that on another show. On another show. But at the end of the day, man, there's a new conversation that we're starting to have too. And so I want you to go ahead and give us a little information on that.
So, that being said, we are kind of exciting. We're starting a new, I guess, a branch of what we're trying to do, right?
Right.
It's going to be called
The tree's growing.
The tree is growing, right? Hopefully this thing will take off. Average nobody. So you guys will see some information coming along your way about average nobody. Average nobody is that kind of ironic saying, right? Because nobody is average and everybody is somebody. But one of the things that we want to do there is we want to get into a weight loss journey.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of us now that have started officially today this weight loss journey. We won't put everybody's name out there, but there's 6 of us that are doing this. And what Average Nobody's going to do is going to kind of just document this journey, kind of give advice, give tips, but really just kind of be a real world, real deal example of the ups and the downs, the trials, the errors, and everything involved, right? And for me, one of the things that I'm going to do for this weight loss journey is I'm going to base it off of everything that the average person will have. I'm not going to do anything crazy, because for me, I feel like a lot of people, the main thing is they say they don't have time.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have time to do it. Oh, I don't have the equipment.
Yeah.
I don't have this. I don't have this. Right. You'll find an excuse to not do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the most basic gutter represent. Like I'm going to be doing this in my garage. You know, there's no mood lighting. There's no muscle lighting down or whatever. This is going to be dirty.
No special machines.
You know, just a couple kettlebells, a plyo box that anybody should be able to get a hold of. I will have a pull-up bar, which not everybody has. You can put stuff in your doorway. I have one bolted in the roof, but it's going to be the bare minimum basics, and I'm going to do my best to try to show people what you can do with working every day.
Yeah,
a little bit of time dedicated
a real life,
a real life, right?
To
this isn't
living a healthier life.
It's not getting paid to have a peak physique, right?
Yeah.
This isn't for Instagram to be whatever. This is just an everyday transformation of what anybody can do, and hopefully people will enjoy, respond, and be a part of. And at the end of this is going to be an 8-month trial, right? So we're going to go through a 4-month phase where some of us are going to bulk, and then we're going to do a 4-month phase where we're all going to cut and try to get to what our goal weights are and our goal dreams are. And hopefully I'll be able to share everybody's transformations when we go through this Average Nobody quest, if everybody's comfortable with that. But at the end of the day, this is going to be something that I want to show people that it is possible. For me, you guys will see a lot. Hopefully you'll see a change. You'll see a change here in the cameras, right? The face will get thin. People
Yeah.
is he sick? No, I'm not sick. I'm getting shredded.
Intentional.
Right?
Yeah.
Intentional, right?
Right.
That's, I mean, overall, that's the goal.
Right.
And, you know, the average nobody's going to have a lot of things on there, but right now, because we are talking about body shaming, we are talking about getting in shape, we are talking about being better, because when you are better, you feel better, you operate better, you think better, you sleep better.
Yeah.
All of that plays a role.
Everything's better.
In everything's better, and all that plays a role in mental health, right? You know, when you're good, there's scientific studies that show good gut health is also good for the mind. You know, being able to sleep well without sleep apnea.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
good sleep is good for the mind. You know,
Right.
this is at the end of the day about mental health, being better people all around, and being in shape, being happy with where you are is huge. So hopefully people will stay tuned and tune in for Average Nobody and the quest to be the best. That's
Yeah,
what
man.
I'm gonna call it.
I mean, so, you know, we're here at Deep MCs, and we just want to make sure that we're not just having conversation, but we're actually doing something about, you know, adding some action to these conversations that we're having.
100%.
Right. And so we couldn't have that conversation today and then not have a response on the back end of it on how to actually move forward in it. So here we are, man. And I'm excited about it.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get out of here, man.
All right.
Yeah. I'm ready to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it. I'm ready to do it. I can't be afraid now.